gorgeous mountain views, beautiful beaches. So, do you want to go to Florida or California? Come with us as we compare these two popular states. On the West Coast, there's California, from the Sierra Nevada mountain range, the Redwoods, to the Pacific Coast Highway, perhaps the most beautiful landscapes in the U.S. On the East Coast, there's Florida, the Emerald Coast, down A1A to the Keys, the most gorgeous beaches in the country. In this video, we'll compare these two states, their beaches, state parks, national parks, their variety, the weather, the people. We'll show some of the best places to visit. Throughout the course of this video, we'll show over 40 beaches, 5 national parks, 8 state parks, and a detailed look at the Pacific Coast Highway, so you'll want to watch to the end. Or maybe you are thinking of moving to Florida or California. I will point out several things you might want to consider, as I am someone who have spent all my life in these two states, other than my time in the Marine Corps. We'll take a deep dive into things like weather, crime, net migration, taxes, and other factors. It's the Pacific Coast Highway versus A1A, Hollywood versus Hollywood, Venice Beach Boardwalk versus the Venice Beach Pier, Alcatraz versus Alligator Alcatraz. While the channel name is Tampa Aerial Media, we film all over the U.S., but in winter and spring, mostly Florida. We have a big Florida Keys series coming in November, so if you have a vacation rental and you want to be featured, let me know. I plan on doing a lot of Florida's East Coast and California, Utah, Idaho, and Texas next year, Lord willing. So subscribe and click the bell to see all that. And thumbs up if you like what you see. And I always appreciate your super chats, channel members, and your comments and feedback, all very helpful. So thank you very much. And now, it's the Golden State versus the Sunshine State. The mamas and the papas and the beach boys dreamt of California on a winter's day. However, in winter, I think I want to be in Florida. But on a summer's day in Florida, I am dreaming of California. With weather, California definitely has the advantage. In Florida, in the summer, in the afternoons, the heat is just oppressive with the humidity. For the first time ever, Tampa hit 100 degrees, and let me tell you, 100 in Florida is not like 100 in Vegas or Arizona. After living in Florida, I'll tell you, 100 degrees in Vegas feels great. But in Florida, with the humidity, it feels like temperature is always 10 to 15 degrees higher than the actual temperature. So in California, you can do hiking, biking, lots of outdoor activities in the summer, whereas in Florida, at least in the afternoons in summer, you kind of just want to hibernate inside. The cool breeze off the Pacific make California evenings very pleasant in the summer. Now in winter, Florida weather is paradise. Just ask a bottlenose dolphin. Let's talk about beaches and geography. Two very different coastlines. California has a more dramatic shoreline with a variety of scenery, ranging from the cliffside shorelines to the more flat beaches. But Florida beaches, I would say, are far more cleaner, better maintained. And on the west coast of Florida, you have that powdery white sand. Florida's beaches are better suited for swimming year-round, whereas the water in the Pacific is generally much colder. But SoCal does have more longer boardwalks, like from Santa Monica to Venice Beach, great for rollerblading or biking. There's Long Beach, and also Mission Beach in San Diego. In Florida, you really only have the Miami Beach Boardwalk, which is great at 10 miles long. And there's also the Hollywood Boardwalk at 3 miles long. And there's the Clearwater Beach Boardwalk, but it's pretty short, just a half-mile long. Both states do have great areas for surfing. There's Black's Beach around La Jolla in the San Diego area. And in Pacifica, there's dog surfing.
Surf's up for an annual favorite on the peninsula. Some very talented pets were competing today in the World Dog Surfing Championships in Pacifica. Participants came from all over the country.
And in Florida, you have Jupiter Beach and Cocoa Beach. In California, you don't really see the colorful turquoise waters. It's more a bluish color. You really have to go all the way down to Baja California in Mexico before you start seeing turquoise waters. For a scenic coastal drive, it's hard to beat California's Highway 1, known as the Pacific Coast Highway, although some segments technically have other names, but people would generally refer to all of Highway 1 as the Pacific Coast Highway. We want to do an updated video of it next year. At 656 miles, this is the longest state route in the state, second longest in the U.S. It starts 108 miles north of San Francisco, but really, if you are driving it, I'd start at Highway 101 at the Oregon-California border, near Crescent City. It has a nice coastal drive, too, and then you go through the Redwoods National Park before Highway 1 starts at Leggett, California. This is quite a drive. It has sections where it leaves the coastline, like around the Golden Gate Bridge, and you have to go through the massive traffic of the San Francisco Bay Area, and hitting the coast again at Pacifica, and you go through Half Moon Bay. Beginning at Monterey, you see some of the most beautiful parts. The iconic Bixby Creek Bridge. It hugs the edge of the coastline here, from all the way down to Morro Bay. This is probably the most gorgeous part, but this section can have the most road closures. So you always want to check the status of the road, because it can be a long drive out of your way if there is a closure. At Morro Bay, it reconnects with Highway 101, taking you down through Santa Barbara. And becomes a Ventura Highway in the sunshine, where the days are longer and the nights are stronger than moonshine. A little song by America there. At Santa Monica, it cuts inland. Then you have to deal with the massive metro of LA. I hate to say it, but you might have to jump on the 405, which you want to avoid during rush hour, believe me. You have 40 miles before you hit the coast again, just south of Long Beach at Seal Beach, and it continues for another 40 miles of gorgeous coastline. There's Corona del Mar Beach at Newport Beach, El Capitan, Laguna Beach, Capistrano Beach, and ends at Dana Point, where it merges into I-5, and I-5 will travel the rest of the way into San Diego. Here, you probably have the most beautiful beaches of California, but the shoreline is so rugged, you don't have a shoreline drive, but I'd highly recommend visiting the beaches around Torrey Pines or La Jolla. There's also Mission Beach and Coronado Beach. So this whole coastline is 840 miles long. That would be like driving from New York to past Savannah, Georgia on the East Coast. I would allow at least 5 days if just driving Highway 1, but if you want to do the whole coastline, including 101 and the beaches of San Diego, allow 10 days. In Florida, you have A1A that begins in Fernandina Beach and travels for about 380 miles. AI will tell you it goes to Key West. Not true. It ends in Miami. But then Route 1 will take you down into the Keys. So if you combine it with Highway 1, that's 539 miles. While being able to travel with the Gulf on one side and the Atlantic on the other side is impressive. For beauty, I have to give the edge to the Pacific Coast Highway. Now for state parks, I have to give the edge to Florida. With only $6 per vehicle or $4 for a single occupant vehicle, it's a great deal compared to California's $15 per car. Just to mention, my top 3 are Bahia Honda State Park on Big Pine Key, next to the old historic railroad bridge. The water and the swimming, incredible. Also Fort DeSoto in St. Petersburg, where you can also take the Hubbard's Ferry to Egmont Key, or do some jet skiing with Blind Pass Jet Ski to Shell Key. Also MacArthur State Park in North Palm Beach, nestled on a barrier island in the Atlantic Ocean. In California, there's Point Dume State Park, a rocky cove with large beach access and a good place to watch gray whales from December to mid-May. Another good one is Emma Woods State Park Beach, near Ventura, good for surfing, swimming, and fishing. It has been good for camping, but right now is closed for camping. However, 100 miles down the coast is Doheny State Beach, and there is RV camping right on the beach. Now for national parks, California is far, far much better. In Northern California is the Cascade Range, where there's Mount Shasta, one of the world's largest stratovolcanoes. There's Redwoods National Park, with trees up to 1,000 years old and over 350 feet high. And in Central Cali, there's Yosemite, located in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. This is one of the best national parks in the U.S., with its giant lakes, meadows, glaciers, and tall mountain cliffs. And 100 miles south of Yosemite is Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, known for their huge sequoia trees, and an underground crystal cave with streams and impressive rock formations. How about sports? Well, for the active lifestyle, as I mentioned earlier, it's California because of the weather, and hills and mountains, something that Florida lacks. I would love to go out for bike riding right now, but it's just too hot here in Florida. In California, so many great hiking and biking year-round, but for boating and water recreation, Florida definitely wins out there. You have the Intracoastal Waterway around most of the state, with islands and sandbars to have a great time. Now, California has better lakes by far, some surrounded by gorgeous mountain views, like at Lake Tahoe. You have to visit at least once in your life. Also, the fact that Florida has gators in its lakes, kind of a bummer. You don't want to be swimming in the lakes here. However, Florida does have several beautiful springs where you don't have to worry about the gators. In California, you have whales and seals, especially from December to April, being the best months to see them. On Florida's west coast, you can see manatees from April to December, or bottlenose dolphins from April to October. For professional sports, it's pretty equal, although I will say the teams that I grew up following, like the Oakland Raiders, are now in Vegas, and the Oakland A's will join them in 2028. Florida does have spring training. Even if you are not a baseball fan, the spring training atmosphere is just great, but that's only 1 month out of the year. For variety of things to do, again, California would win, and much of it is due to its geography. In LA, you have the beaches, but are just a 1-hour drive to the San Gabriel or San Bernardino Mountains. In the San Francisco Bay Area, you are just a couple of hours' drive to the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas, or 3.5 hours' drive to Lake Tahoe. In Florida, we can go to the Smoky Mountains, but from Tampa, it's a full day's drive, 9 hours, or 13 hours from Miami. Now with theme parks, Florida gets the big win. California has Disneyland, but Florida has Disney World, a clear winner there. Disney World is 54 times bigger. It spans 72,000 acres, compared with Disneyland at 500 acres. And in addition to the Magic Kingdom, you also have Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios. A couple of years ago, we did a 3-video series of Orlando that included Disney World, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld. How about traffic in the big cities? Well, Tampa and Miami has certainly seen an increase, but it's still not nearly as bad as LA or San Francisco. And for public transportation, Florida has the high-speed Bright Line that goes from Miami up the coast to Orlando and will eventually go to Tampa. Brightline is also coming to SoCal.
It will be the fastest train in the U.S., connecting Southern California to Southern Nevada at speeds topping 200 miles per hour. Brightline West will be America's first true high-speed passenger rail system, getting people from Las Vegas to Rancho Cucamonga twice as fast as driving.
The 218-mile line will mostly run in the median of the I-15.
It's hoping to be in operation by 2028, but not in time for the LA Olympics. San Francisco has the cable cars, something you have to ride at least once in your life. And Tampa has the Tico Street cars. With that, I'd give the nod to San Francisco. Now, let's compare living in either of these two states.
Okay, they are packing up their U-Hauls and they are saying bye-bye. Once again, a new study is showing that more people are moving out of California than actually moving in.
So, with all this great natural beauty and weather of California, why wouldn't everyone choose to live in this beautiful state? Well, it is still the largest state in population at 39 million. In fact, strictly looking at domestic migration, California has had more people moving out than moving in since 1989. A recent study by Stanford University showed California is losing people to Arizona, Nevada, and Texas at higher levels than ever before. Florida, on the other hand, is the third most populated state with 23 million, and since 2021 has been the fastest growing state. Although Florida has had its issues too, with hurricanes and rising home and car insurance rates, causing some of its people to flee to Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. But growth still remains strong. The extreme COVID restrictions in California were the tip of the iceberg for many, on top of issues with energy restrictions and rates, high gas prices.
The county are holding near $4.50 a gallon. That, of course, is well above the $3.14 a gallon national average. Experts warn they could spike again as two major California refineries prepare to shut down.
With lower supply and still robust demand, I think California's playing a very dangerous game with refineries.
California has the highest base sales tax at 7.25, but most counties add an additional 2 to 3%. For example, in most of LA, you pay over 10%. There are some exceptions, like in rural areas in Northern California, or even Ventura or Thousand Oaks, where there's no additional county tax. Florida's base sales tax is 6%, and its counties add no more than 1.5%, so the most you'll pay in Florida is 7.5%. California has a hefty state income tax too, up to 12.3%. Those making between $70,000 and $360,000 pay 9.3%. Now, if you're making $70,000 in California, you are probably struggling to pay the bills, and then have to pay an additional 9% in income tax on top of all the other state taxes. Yet you wonder, where's the benefit from those taxes? Whereas in Florida, there's no state income tax. California has faced increasing crime-related challenges too.
A large group of masked thieves smashed their way into a jewelry store in Artesia.
And this is the latest in a string of burglaries targeting jewelry stores in the Southland.
Smash and grab robberies have been significant in California, whereas you do not see that in Florida. Its violent crimes are up 15% since 2019. That's pre-COVID. While Floridians' violent crimes are down 23% since 2019. Florida's crime rate was 3.8 per 1,000 people, whereas California was 5 per 1,000 people. Also, car break-ins have been a big problem. Most vehicle thefts in the country. Although per capita, it is the 5th worst state in the U.S. for vehicle theft. But I will say, in the last couple of years, California is starting to enact laws like AB 60 to increase the penalties for theft and property damage to discourage these crimes. And it's about time. And San Francisco has now seen car break-ins decrease to a 22-year low. So credit to them for starting to turn things around, maybe. But I certainly feel safer in Tampa, Orlando, or Miami compared with San Francisco, Sacramento, or Los Angeles. And there's homelessness. California ranks number 1 and Florida number 3. While you do see homelessness in Florida, a warmer climate will always draw the homeless, but you do not see it nearly to the degree as what you see in California. As far as natural disasters, both states have them. California has the earthquakes, wildfires, and mudslides, while Florida has the hurricanes. I'd probably take the earthquakes, wildfires, and mudslides over the hurricanes. However, I think Florida has a better response to the natural disasters.
Any medics available?
In summary, I grew up in the Bay Area, was born in the Silicon Valley, where all this tech stuff started. But I promise you, I am not AI. This is the real Randy. Bailey can verify that. Growing up in the Bay Area was great. San Francisco is, and can be, one of the most beautiful cities in the country. But it, like LA, has faced a lot of issues with crime, drugs, and cleanliness. Now, in the last year and a half, San Francisco has taken steps to reverse that, which is great to see. Hopefully, San Francisco can return to be that beautiful city by the bay. But as for me, I choose to reside in that other Bay Area. As a state, California seems to reward bad behavior, yet punish achievement. It has a lot of restrictions, overreaching governmental control. It's why you see many businesses moving to Texas and Florida. These excessive regulations you just don't get in Florida. So for operating a business, Florida is far better. And also, raising a family. I believe Florida is better too. As a parent, you can raise your children according to your values, without burdensome governmental control. So in the area of freedom, Florida wins. Also, I find people in Florida a little more friendlier. Now, you do get the stories of Florida man.
All right, bro.
Every day, I'm the best charter captain you'll ever meet in your mother.
All right, bro.
When you hear a news story start out with a Florida man, it's often going to be someone doing some weird and crazy thing. But I'll take that over the smash and grabs. Law enforcement gets more support from the state here, which I believe makes Florida a safer state. It is quicker to react to mobs and riots to keep things from getting out of hand, and to keep those rowdy pirates from getting out of control. Oh, by the way, I did a poll with y'all. Which state do you prefer, California or Florida? And Florida won 72% to 28%. Although it might be a little skewed, because I'm sure there's more of our followers in Florida than California. So let me know in the comments below which state you like better and why. I generally film California about every 3 years, so I'm due next year. Let me know some areas you'd like to see me film. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like or share it with your friends and family. We are Tampa Aerial Media for stock footage, or if you'd like to hire us to film your city, region, or vacation rental, contact me at info@tampaaerialmedia.com. I've been doing these compilation videos over the summer as we are planning a lot of traveling in the fall and all of next year. Doing the most scenic roads of the East next. And let me know if there's some other things you would like to see a video of. From the Sunshine State and the Golden State, I wish blessings to you wherever you may be.